So welcome back, learners. So this is the next continuation of your bioreactor design, and you know that we have completed till the design of your spurger, but we were discussing another important point, that when we are basically allowing the air to enter into through the spurger, we require your sterile layer, and for the sterile layer we require to purify the air, to actually filter the air. So for that we have discussed that there are three different types of filter, that is your membrane filter, your packed bed filter, your cartridge filter. So let's discuss this one by one. So let's start. The first is your membrane filter. Membrane filter. So you know that they are basically made up of your cellulose acetate and nitrate. So membrane filter is basically made up of cellulose acetate and nitrate, and the most important thing is your constant pore size. Constant pore size. Okay, to ensure filtering of particulate matter. But the problem is that membrane filter is not cheap. We have to make our design cheap. We have to make our design cost effective, such that the product becomes cost effective. So this design is not at all cost effective, because you know that membrane filter is not at all cheap. So we can move on to another filter, that is your packed bed filter. So if you move on to packed bed filter, they contain glass wool or cotton wool. So glass wool is the one, or cotton wool is the one. Okay, and this is packed in a container through which air is passed. Pore is not uniform, and these filters are susceptible to compaction and wetting, thus causing channeling. So you know, the first important thing is that here the pore was constant, but here the pore size is not constant. Pore is variable, which is not at all desirable, but it is cheaper one. Okay, and it also leads to your susceptible compaction and wetting, thus causing channeling, which is again not desirable. Next comes another filter, or another type of filter, and that is your cartridge filter. Cartridge filter. And this particular cartridge filter is, the filter element is present in a stainless steel or polycarbonate cartridge. So you have the filter element, okay, and that is basically present in your stainless steel and your polycarbonate cartridge. Okay, they are more reliable and durable, but are a bit expensive. So they are durable but are a bit expensive. Okay, so these are basic aspect of your filters. Okay, next is, you know, next if we move on to the different aspects of your filters apart from filters. Now we have started with what? We have started with aeration and agitation. So we have completed aeration, we have completed the spurger, we have completed thus how the sterile air is passage into the fermenter. Then comes your agitation. Now before we move on to agitation, one has to keep in mind that why agitation? This is because, you know, that if you want a homogenized mixture, that means the mixture is properly homogenized, the water is, or the substrate over there is properly homogenized. So what will happen? We require this type of a fermenter. Okay, and we require a provision in which there will be proper homogenization, and this proper homogenization is basically brought about by this impeller and your agitators with a impeller blades. So you know that it basically comprises of a motor which will allow its rotation, a shaft, and the impeller blade. Okay, so try to understand my point. Motor, shaft, and your impeller blade. Okay, motor, shaft, and impeller blade. What does it mean? It means that it is like a fan. the fan rotates. Here also it is like a fan with a motor shaft and impeller blade. Now the question is that when I'm talking of this motor shaft and impeller blade, what are the advantages and disadvantages? No doubt, there is not a single doubt that the advantage will be proper homogenization. But again, if you think of your other aspect like agitation with this will generate heat, which is not desirable. Agitation with the impeller with a huge amount of speed with this blade can break down the cells. So they break down the cells. So if the cells are broken, what will happen? The cell concentration will fall in the vessel. So heat and breaking down of the cell, that is very important associated with this agitation process. So that is why we again need to modify our impellers. Here one thing I will just, before I move on to the other aspect, you have to know about the aspect ratio. Aspect ratio. What is your aspect ratio? It is height is to diameter of the fermenter. And this is very important for the construction of your impellers. Why? Why it is important? This is because, you know, that if you don't know the height and the diameter, you will not be able to understand that what will be the length of the shaft, how many blades or how many impellers you need to incorporate such that proper homogenization is brought about, right? So that is why aspect ratio with respect to the incorporation of a agitator is very important. That is why I highlighted this point. Now I will move on to the different aspects of your impellers. So let's have another image which will tell you that what are the different types of your impellers. So you understand that this is basically the view of your different types of impeller. So first I will acknowledge this picture. This is being taken from an Introduction to Industrial Microbiology book by Dr. P.K. Shivakumar and Dr. M.M. Joe. So this is basically the picture which is being taken from that book and I am acknowledging it. And so this is the different types of impeller. This is the disc turbine impeller. What is the problem with it? You have a disc and you have the blades all around, right? Now you have so many blades throughout the disc, right? And the blades have a huge surface area. Blades are much, right? So what will happen? When they agitate, of course, they will bring about the death of the cell. They will bring about the cell breakage, right? So that can be modified with another important aspect, that is another type of your impeller, and that particular impeller is your varied disc turbine impeller. So varied disc turbine impeller, you get to see that this is the disc, but here you get this particular blades. The blades are not exposed outside, that the blades are inside, okay? So when they are inside, they are not exposed outside. What will happen? What will be the problem? Not the problem, it will bring about the rotation and your agitation, but the surface area is less. And as the surface area is less, so what will happen? The breakage will be reduced. Then comes the third one, which is your variable pitch open turbine impeller. So from this picture, I will rather draw this picture in another aspect, you know. This is the disc. These are the shaft. These are not the blades, right? And blades are here at the top. So you get to see the surface area of the blade is very small. It is not as that of your disc turbine. So what will happen? Since the surface area of the blades are small, so the cell breakage will be reduced. So this is another one. And the fourth one is your marine propeller. You have seen it in the submarine, right? From Solomons 1969. So this particular marine propeller agitator is having blades, of course, but the blades are blunt. So it will not only bring about proper agitation, but the breakage of the cell will also be reduced. So for impellers, you have to think about, you have to keep in mind the aspect ratio of the fermenter for fixing the number of blades and the height of the shaft. And moreover, you have to keep in mind another important point, that is the cell breakage has to be reduced, and accordingly you have to inculcate new designs of your impeller. Now I will move on to your another aspect, and that is your baffles. So that is your baffles. So so we have completed impeller. You get to see that this is baffles. So for baffle, one thing you have to keep in mind, that is your vortexing. Vortexing. Now for knowing that what is your vortexing, I will incorporate some images which will help you to understand it. Okay. So this is basically your vortexing. So you know that when there is a constant rotation with that of your impeller, most of the content are going to the two sides of the container. You are getting two sides of the container. The different contents are attached to the sides of the container. So what is happening? If they start attaching to the sides of the container, the content and the cell will also be reduced at the middle of the container inside the fermentation broth. So you have to bring them back into the system. They should not be attached to the walls, rather they will be brought back to the system. So that is why what we have to do is that we have to have an important aspect, that is your baffles. So if you get to see this baffle, this baffle will constantly move through the sides. So you get to see through the sides the baffles are moving. And as the material is going and attaching to the surface, they are not getting attached. Rather, they are coming back into the solution. So see, they are coming back into the solution. So that is what I am trying to say is about vortexing and about your impeller. Okay, and of course I will acknowledge this particular design. So the vortexing, the first picture is basically taken from dynamic.com and the second picture is being taken from the Sarcel.com. Okay, so these are the two pictures which will describe the use of your baffles. So next I will move on. So baffle is being done. Next is your cooling jacket. Cooling jacket, Next comes the temperature, maintenance of your temperature, maintenance of your pH. Okay. So for temperature, you have cooling jacket. So when the temperature increases, suppose the temperature has to be 37 degrees centigrade and it has increased to 42. So you have to bring them down to 37. So for that, cool water is passed through the double wall jacket and that will bring down the temperature. If the temperature lowers to 23 and it needs to be higher to 37, warm water will be passage through. So like this way, the temperature is maintained. pH control. So there is a pH controller over here, and that acid base resorber pumps are there. So that will intermittently put the acid and the base to maintain the pH of the overall system, because the pH is very important for their optimum growth, and optimum growth will give you the optimum product. Okay. Then you get to see that there are harvest valve from where you get the product. Okay. Apart from it, that there is another important aspect, that is your anti-foam provision. So foam formation will occur. So that can reduce the distribution of the oxygen supply to the organism, the material, and your fermentation may get compromised. So you have to remove the foam. For that, you have mechanical foam breaker, which will break down the foam. Apart from it, you may have your anti-foam agent. And this anti-foam agent will basically reduce the surface tension of the foam, resulting in breaking down of the foam. So this is all about the basic design of your biofermenter, which comprises of aeration, agitation, vortexing, and all those things which comes into play. Okay. So in my next class, we will be discussing about the sensors. Like we have talked about temperature, we have talked about pH, but what type of sensor is determining the temperature? What type of airflow system is there? What type of pressure system is there? Pressure gauge is there? agitation rate, how it is being determined, how pH is being determined and how it is being mediated, dissolved oxygen concentration, what type of probes are required to detect the dissolved oxygen concentration, right? So all these things are the part of your control parameters. So we will be discussing the control parameters in our later classes. So thank you once again.